Hello again, it's only me. Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm doing my final piece for a project I've been working on for the past 3 weeks. Well, actually I do two things in this video. I do a Lino print and a screen print, and I really like the way the screen print turns out, so make sure you stick around to see that at the end of the video. But first I'm working on a Lino print about my project. To quickly fill you in on the project, the brief was to make what was it? To make a illustrated piece of typography about an act of civil disobedience. So there was about 10 acts to choose from, and I picked the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I'll pop some pictures up of the group now, but basically they're a group of mainly gay men who dress up as very extravagant nuns and do a lot for the local community. They've raised lots of money for charity. I think they've raised like over £1 million, well, dollars I suppose. They do a lot of raising awareness for AIDS, and like back when it was the AIDS crisis, they were the first ever organisation to raise money for it. They do a lot, just like they spread a lot of love and just the idea of acceptance and like being who you want to be. And I was just really inspired learning about this group, and I was just excited to get making work about them, because not only am I like really interested in drag, because I love everything about drag, I also just think what they do is pretty cool. Anyway, what I'm doing here is a Lino print. You can see I'm tracing my design just onto the Lino using tracing paper. The design itself, I'm really proud of. It took me a long time to get there and many sketches and thumbnails to figure out what I wanted to do. I guess I'll quickly show you my Google Slides. This is like an online sketchbook. It's how the teachers see your work. I feel like I say that in every single video. But just in case there's someone new here, yeah, I'll give you a quick flip through of my slides to show you the kind of practical work I've been doing. So here's my first initial sketches. You can see I was just drawing out the group in a bunch of different ways in a very stylized way. I really like the way these turned out. And then, just close-ups on them. I did a bit of painting, but I wasn't too crazy about this outcome, especially this face. Wasn't too pleased. And I did this, which was a little bit creepy, to be honest. And then just playing around with like heart motifs and swirls and patterns, a little bit of collage and more sketches, but this time looking at what they do rather than just what they look like, and starting to include a little bit of typography, because the idea was to just draw random things, and then from that you can kind of take motifs from that to make the typography. This is just random bits from when we went on a trip to a sculpture park, so it's just some drawings I did whilst I was there. And quickly moving on, here's the first Lino print that I did. I did a little experiment before I did my big one. I really like the way this turned out, and I probably prefer this over the final piece you see me doing in this video, because I really like the way this looks. So there's that. And then I just played around with it on Photoshop, but I didn't really like the way it looked. This is more messing around, trying to come up with typography shapes. We do this sort of stuff in lesson. There's like loads of little tasks you have to do, and they're always really quick and quite messy, as you can see. Very big and messy stuff that we do in lessons. And then I was trying to come up with how to make my letters look a bit more interesting, and just different variations of the letters. This is trying to come up with kind of compositions, and then I did my 3 final roughs, and you can see that this is what I kind of took through into my final, though I did tweak it quite a bit. But these were the other 2 ideas, which were potential things to do. As you can see, I took this and I knew it needed work. My teacher was like, it needs to be a little bit more cheeky, because that's quite a big side to the sisters. They're very kind of sarcastic and witty and cheeky and fun, and I feel like I was missing the fun side in this. So I kind of sharpened some of the letters to give them a bit more pointiness, and added the extra character in to show them kind of kissing, well, almost kissing, which adds to that cheekiness. And this is me planning out the screen print, which you see me do later in this video, and I really like adding all these like shiny bits to make it look a bit more like squeaky, which added to the cheekiness, I thought. It kind of made it look like juicy. I liked it. This is what you do for the screen printing, but I'll get more into that in the screen printing part of this video, because you have to split it up into the layers. And this is what you see me doing in this video, so I will not go any further. So that's you updated on the slides. Back to the Lino cutting. So here I am doing the lino cutting. As you can see, I have it all drawn out already. I traced it on, as you saw me doing before. I scribbled out all the areas that I'm supposed to be cutting out just to make it easier when cutting, because on my last one I didn't do this and I made a mistake and I cut away the wrong area, because it can get a bit confusing because you're cutting away the bits which are white, so you're kind of doing the opposite as what you would do naturally, like when drawing just with a pencil. So it messes with your brain a little bit, so I made sure to have like clear guides of everything that I was supposed to cut before doing it, which made it a lot easier. I don't know if you think this is satisfying, but I really do. Just watching the lino being carved is just like, it's just like heaven to watch. I really enjoy watching it and I really enjoy doing it. One of the main reasons I did lino is just because the act of like just carving for me is really relaxing. I mean, after a while it does start to ache the old shoulder, I'm not gonna lie. It can get a bit painful after a while. You have to like kind of shake your arm and give it a rest. But just like watching it come off is really satisfying. You have to be really careful though, because once it's cut off, there ain't no getting it back. You know, the mistake has been made and there's no way around it. So I go really slow, making sure that everything I'm cutting is the right bit to cut, and just making sure to not put too much pressure, because sometimes you can kind of slip and cut too much. You get all these little shavings, like little plastic bits that are quite fun to play with. But yeah, just gradually cutting away. This took me about, I'm guessing, around like 4 hours to do all this, but I wasn't really rushing. I was kind of taking it slow and enjoying the process. I managed to watch 4 episodes of I'm a Celeb, so now I'm caught up on that. But yeah, I really enjoyed carving this out. I had 2 different cutting thingamabobs, one chunky one and one small one, which I only used for the face, around the really delicate lines, but for everything else I could just use the one cutting tool, because it was quite a big piece of lino. It's A4, so I had a lot of room to work with, and it was quite a simple design. Even though I enjoyed the process and doing this, and I think the end result's okay, I'm not super crazy about it. I only did this really as a way to fill time, because I sent my screen print off to be like made into the screens, and that was going to take a few days to do. So I thought, oh, whilst I'm waiting, I'll do a lino, I'll be productive, get something done in the time. And the teachers like it when you do like different versions of the same thing, like track testing out media and stuff. So I thought, you know, even if it isn't like the best outcome, at least I've shown that I've tried something. And plus it was really fun to do, and I do, you know, it's nice, it's okay, but I think when you see it compared next to the screen print, there's just no comparison. Like, the screen print is so much better, well, in my opinion, and you'll see me doing the screen print later on, so get excited for that. Hello, it's now the next day and I'm going to get printing this. I carved it all out yesterday. It took me around, while I was catching up on I'm a Celeb, and I managed to watch I think 4 episodes, so however long that is, 4 hours I suppose, to do all this cutting out. My arm is now aching quite a lot because it's a lot of shoulder strength to get all this carved out. I'm not quite sure how well everything will turn out, because obviously these bits are really like fine and small, and I'm not sure how well they will translate once printed, especially like the eyelashes here, if they'll really work. But even if it is like a little bit messy, I can go into Photoshop and fix things. That's the line I'm doing. If I hold it up to the light, actually you can kind of see through it. Oh, that looks pretty cool there. So that's hopefully gives you a better idea of what it will look like when it's printed. Yeah, I'm going to get printing this. I'm going to go downstairs to my friend's room, I think, because we're both doing lino at the moment, so we'll print together. My technique is, well, usually when you're doing lino, you use like a roller, and you like roll it in some ink, and then you roll it on here, and then you print. And I will do that for one of them, just using the black ink that I have. I really want to try this technique, which I did for my last lino print, the one I did the other week. Like I did loads of tests. And how I did this was I just mixed a bunch of colours of acrylic paint and just like slapped it on in random bits, and then put the paper on top, and you could see like all the brush strokes, and I really like the way that looks. That's the plan, and then hopefully I can like fix it on Photoshop to make it a bit more cleaner, because when I do the acrylic paint it's not the most accurate thing to do. I'm not sure how good the lighting is in my friend's room, so it might be a little bit grainy, so hopefully it's not too bad. Right, let's get to printing. footage for this is a little bit grainy, so I apologise for that. I did put a nice little frame around it to make it look a bit nicer. Anyway, so here I am printing. I slap on a bunch of acrylic paint, get the paper on as quick as possible. You'll see me in a bit whip out a spoon to make it a bit easier to press the paper onto the lino. A lot of them failed, some of them worked, and then I quickly run to the sink and wash it before the acrylic paint dries, because I didn't want the paint to dry in the cracks of the lino, and it dries very quickly. So I was a little running machine in between the kitchen and where I was doing this. So I did lots of different attempts with the acrylic paint. I don't know, maybe about 8, and then I don't know, it just didn't have the same effect as my experiment which I showed you before. I don't know, maybe because it was bigger, much bigger than my practice attempt. I don't know, I just felt like the paint really wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So then I brought out the black ink, and I was going to do some plain black ones anyway, just to show the design a bit better, because it's not the clearest with the paint. But then my friend gave me an amazing idea to do the lino on top of the paint, and I think these turned out quite cool. And then I did a few with the paint as a drop shadow, and I think some of these turned out really fun, and I do like the way they look, but just compared to the screen print, like I was saying before, they just think this, you just can't get the same sort of shading that you can get on a screen print. And then here's my final lino that I edited, kind of 2 versions together. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to, hold on, I was about to say moving on to screen print, but no, I spoke too soon. It snowed and I was just very excited, so I filmed a little bit. So enjoy my fun in the snow. I cannot lift that. I cannot lift that. I think we need to lift it. Oh, Eleanor! Finally, the day was here. My screen prints were ready to use, and it was time to get printing. This is the first ever time I have screen printed, so it was a rocky start. I kind of made quite a few mistakes, but luckily there was the kind of technician man who helped me out a lot with this, and then I think I soon got the swing of it, and then by the end I was just zooming through them. I was doing print after print. I did way too many, and I have lots left over, and I keep begging my friends to take them from me because I don't know what to do with them. But if you don't know what screen printing is, here's the big machines that they have at uni to do it. It's a bit intimidating because the machines are quite big, but it's this little kind of flap which you put your screen into, which has your design on, and I'll pop up on screen right now what my design that I sent off were. So I separated it into 2 layers. This is my friend's screen print as well. We were doing it at the same time, so yeah, you can see her doing it. So I separated it into 2 layers, the background colour, which was my main pink, and then the line work and the shading on top, which was on a separate screen. So I do my first print, which is just the solid background colour, and then I did loads of them, and then I go back in with another colour to add the lines on top, and you use this big scrapey thing to push the ink through the screens, because it's a little, it's meshy, is that a word, meshy? So it's got very tiny holes in it which lets the ink fall through, but obviously not fall through where the design isn't. I'm probably explaining this really badly, but hopefully you can kind of get the gist to what I'm doing just by watching. So I'll quickly explain to you the step-by-step processes of it. So you put your screen on, and then you just print onto this plastic sheet, which you've probably seen me moving about, and that just lets you know where the design is, and then from that you can figure out where to put your piece of paper. And then what do you do after that? Trying to remember because it's still quite new to me. You put the plastic sheet away so it's just your paper, and the tables have like sort of a vacuum. Imagine like a hockey table, but like an air hockey table, but the opposite. It like sucks, so it holds the paper in place, and then you pull down the thing with the screen on it, and you have your ink at the top. Make sure you got loads and loads of ink, and then push the what's called a squeegee, which I think is a fun word, down, and it pushes all the ink onto the paper, and that's pretty much it. It's quite simple once you get the hang of it. It's just there's a few steps in the beginning which were a bit confusing. I didn't show any of this, but I had to clean this screen so many times because I did a bunch of different colour variations. There's like these big jet washes which you go to clean all the paint off of the screens in between, because obviously you don't want the colour to transfer to like when you're doing another colour. But yeah, it was nice to use the facilities of uni because I very rarely use them, and yeah, it was nice learning a new process that I hadn't really done before. Here are all the prints I've done. As you can see, lots. From these I had a top 5 that I really liked. I still am a bit undecided as to which to use for my final. I'll probably decide quite last minute. There's just 2 I can't choose between because I just like them all so much. But I just love these so much, and I think they perfectly encapsulates what the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence do and kind of stand for. Well, in my eyes, hopefully it does. And I don't know, I just felt a lot of pressure with this piece because I wanted to make something which really did them justice, and I don't know, I hope I've done that well. I'm hoping you won't have to wait too long to see another video, because I know that the waits for videos have been quite a lot recently, just because I've been so busy with uni. It's been hard to make videos more often, but I think because Christmas is coming up, I'll have a bit more time to make a few more frequent videos, but not too many. I won't promise anything, so don't get too excited. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.